Hi guys, happy Thursday. So any of you, I don't know, maybe it's just me. I follow the weather almost to the T. Like I have so much faith in what the weather is going to be like that today I planned my afternoon around the weather that my app told me it was going to be. The reason why I'm telling you this is because it's been a really wild couple of weeks. We just got back 2 weeks ago from going to Spain, visiting Sevilla and visiting my family and taking some time to sort of just be free. And then we got back. We had like maybe a day to just kind of, my kids are a whole different story. I maybe had like one day to just kind of like breathe and chill. And then I hit the ground running. I work part-time, third shift at the hospital. And those days sometimes just compile together, even though I only do 24 hours a week, 12-hour shifts. But sometimes it's like back to back to back to back. And on top of that, life. I have my children. I have a home. I have One Love Healing, and I'm working on incredible classes that I think are extremely important to help us get our power back. I feel like we hit a really big pause in the whole human experience during COVID and during all the ups and downs that we've sort of been able to almost see directly, and the pathway to information is so large that we have a hard time putting it into compartments, and sometimes can become so incredibly overwhelming. Life itself is so complex and so completely overwhelming that everything else that we've added to it has become sort of like the too many layers on a cake that we can't carry by ourselves. So what I've been doing for a long time is finding the source and finding the connection and finding the understanding as to why we are how we are. And for me, it's more of the metaphysical and the psychological and also the physiology of it. It's not just very straightforward. Neither is life. But as I'm in it and I'm researching and I'm studying and I'm getting certifications and practice hours in, I am putting together the whole reason why I began doing what I'm doing. And because as I am getting my power back, my freedom back, my life back, and it's extremely painful, I am a firm believer that we are one, we are connected. Therefore, what I know is information that you should know. And my success should be your success. And my evolution and my growth should be your growth. So living in the in-between, or also another thing I love to say is passion forward. Living in the in-between, passion forward, is understanding that what happened to you is very real. Whatever it is. The situation that you're currently living in feels impossible, and that is very real. You're in a place where you feel like there is no end in sight, and that feeling is very real. Nobody can take away any of your feelings. I've said it many times, but they're your feelings. So in the in-between, and this mini class start in the in-between, and this big class, all digitally, all delivered to you through a screen, all delivered to you safely through emails, has been something that I've been figuring out for a little while. We get frustrated at the process because we expect the process to be much faster, but we have to enjoy the small pieces of every moment. It's like that saying, take it one day at a time. Well, that's too much of a big pill to swallow. You have to put it in smaller sizes, manageable sizes, which are moments. And you can't appreciate the moments without really looking into the feelings. And you can't really process the current feelings in this very moment until you process the feelings that brought you to this very moment, to your very situation. Yeah. feelings brought you to where you are. Because feelings are what create our realities, our perspectives. Not only the stuff that you see, the relationships that you're in, the jobs that you work at, the views of your life. You create your reality through that. Perspective is created through feelings. Perspective creates the reality. Reactions versus actions. If you have a hard time being in public places, or if you have a hard time with conflict, you have a hard time expressing yourself, you have a hard time opening up to people, you have a hard time trusting yourself enough to know that no matter who comes in and out of your life, you're never going to be alone. As long as you begin to choose exactly what you want. But how do you know what you want without taking the time to really get to know yourself? And you don't really know yourself until you know what brought you here. It's just all connected, just like we are connected. So starting the in-between is if you feel like absolute shit, but you have this glimmer of curiosity, this glimmer of hope of what comes next, or what's at the other side of this suffering that I keep waking up to. That's the biggest step. The hardest step is doing something about it. It's complex. Choose your fucks accordingly. Choose what you do next. Choose who you connect to. That's saying, what is your why? Okay, fine. It's everything that we hear sometimes. Most things that we hear sometimes are these cliches, but they're actual natural laws. What is your why can be asked in so many different ways. For me, that question isn't a question that I ask. For me, is what is my purpose? What is my reason? What is my drive? Why am I doing any of this stuff? I want freedom from so many things that people told us once that were extremely important that are actually not. And that is a complete other conversation. Making the choices that we need for ourselves, those are very difficult things to do because we were giving a script. Even though that script is incorrect, not real, not true, it's a script that we were given. We were told going against the grain, going against the norms, going against beliefs, going against what you were told. It's bad. We were questioned for crying. We were questioned for being in a bad mood. We were questioned for being sad. We were questioned for not just whatever it is that they expected us to do. And so that was also the script. I'm telling you that we're flipping the script. That we are in a new phase of our lives where we can be this incredible community by opening up our minds to the possibilities. By creating hope. And that's a very difficult thing to do because that downward spiral that we become addicted to is not our fault for being addicted to. The downward spiral is what we know. What we know is what we're comfortable with. Some people ask women that have been in abusive relationships or relationships. When I talk about my relationship to some people, sometimes I hear how could you ever been doing that for so long? I think it's funny now. It was huge and triggering for me before. Because anybody that's in an abusive relationship after they realize that they are, or they're in a toxic relationship, or they're in a narcissistic relationship, or they're in a whatever relationship, a relationship that is not adding to your life, and vice versa, and creating this incredible momentum of love and abundance. Any situation like that you're in, you become addicted to it. It becomes your trigger response, your fight or flight, your safety net. And these people that are on the other side treating you the way that they think that people should be treated, they don't know any better until they know better. And usually they don't know any better. Some of them do know better but can't do better. So when you get asked, how long, why were you in that relationship for so long? My response is, that's what I knew. That was home. I came home every day. I was told I wasn't enough. I wasn't supported and I wasn't loved the way that somebody should be supported and loved because I didn't know any better. And now that I know better, that doesn't make it easier either. Awareness to feelings and triggers creates the space and the ability to understand that you need to forgive yourself and those around you and relearn how to be in a relationship with yourself, in a relationship with your outcomes, with your feelings, with your environment, and relationships with the people that actually matter. I posted something this week that says it doesn't matter the amount of people that show up. You put together a list to a party, to a get together, to a lunch. Put a list together to a goodbye party, something that's extremely important to you. Those people that love you unconditionally will show up. Those that can to show up will tell you. And those that don't care, you'll never hear from them. And it's the same thing in your life. And it's okay if your list keeps getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. It's like what I did today, chasing the storm. I believed the app saying that the weather was going to be incredible. I trusted it fully. And I mowed my lawn as fast as possible, and the sun is still shining out there. And I laugh about it. Slow and steady. That's how you sort of win the race, in the in-between. There's no winning the race really though, unless it's your own personal race. In the in-between. We live in the in-between. Of what was, what came of what was, what currently is, and the possibilities of what will be depend on your decisions, on what you choose, what is adding to your life, your goals. What are you doing today to get to where you want to be? What else are you doing today that will help you arrive there nice and slow and easy? Balancing things, balancing life, becoming aware, become aware of your feelings and become aware of your whys. And you can create and live a new life in the in-between. You have to take the time though to get to know yourself again, because being overworked, overstimulated, in unhealthy relationships, and unhealthy jobs, and in unhealthy situations, or constantly chasing a paycheck, overly stressed, and never getting anywhere. You have to bring awareness to the present moment, bring awareness to your feelings, but bring awareness to what happened to you and brought you to this present moment. Slow and steady, and find the safety and know that you are safe, feeling every single feeling. And what happened to you, nobody can take away from you. It happened, but you have to give it time to forgive yourself for not knowing any better until you know better. And you don't know better until you accept not knowing better, forgiving, processing feelings, allowing them to come, finding the hope, and releasing old patterns in everything in your life that are not feeding the life that you want to create. I love you guys. Thanks for being here.